To those of you joining us today, thank you for watching the Woburn Spotlight again. I'm your host, Tyler Gates, here to bring you some positivity by talking to those in town making big strides for the greater good. Today I'm fortunate to have a friend with me, Jay Small, new franchise owner at Cinch IT. Or Cinch IT, excuse me. I butchered the name up front.
It's all good.
Cinch IT. How's everything going over there?
It's going great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thanks for having us on.
July 1 was your kickoff too.
Yep.
Not like you're new to the role, but new to being a franchise owner.
Yeah, new to being in that ownership position. Definitely more responsibility, but more responsibility, hopefully more reward.
So tell us about you, because I've been able to get to know you a bit over the last couple of months. But tell us, a little bit about Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a Massachusetts local. I actually grew up in Grafton, right outside of Worcester, Massachusetts. Went to school at Worcester Polytechnic Institute over in Worcester, and then found my way kind of migrating out towards the greater Boston area. I've been at this role at Cinch IT now for about a year, as a business development manager, and then I've recently been given the opportunity to purchase a franchise. So I decided that I'd take the leap into business ownership and take that on. So now, focused primarily on Woburn and the surrounding communities, I've found that there's a lot of great businesses in this area that we can really support. A lot of our verticals in the biotech, manufacturing, professional service industries are really where we do our best work and really where we can offer the most support for those types of businesses. Also, the networking in this area has been really great. A lot of stuff that you've introduced me to with the WBA and some of the surrounding chambers are really top notch.
That's awesome. That's good to hear, from a advocate of the WBA and some of the other chambers that you're seeing some value there.
Absolutely.
And you're in a great area. And you and your partner stretch quite far, right? Mostly 128, even up 3 a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your geography.
Exactly. So we go all the way up to basically the New Hampshire border and all the way down to about Needham and try to stay in the greater Boston area. So we do some work in the city if there's opportunity in there for us, but we've found a lot of our success is right outside of Boston.
There's enough to keep you busy outside of Boston too.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the organization and what you do for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cinch IT is what's known as a managed service provider. So we basically act as an IT company or an IT department for a business. So rather than them have their own internal IT team of people, we're there to support them, whether it be through remote support, on-site support, project management, and just about everything in between.
Okay.
So, it's kind of been a shift in the industry lately where a lot of people had an IT guy that did things for them, or they had a company that they'd call when something went wrong. But
reactive.
Exactly, the reactive support. Nowadays, with the way that cybersecurity is going, it's really important to have that proactive plan in place to prevent having to drop everything that you're doing and deal with this reactive stuff.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here, which I don't think is very far out on a limb. You guys have probably seen a ton of issues over your tenure, which allows you to help your clients more efficiently than they could have ever done on their own.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, speaking from a IT illiterate person, essentially. But I'm sure having a team of support behind, your organization helps.
Absolutely. It gives you a pretty wide breadth of knowledge. So rather than having one IT person where if he doesn't know the answer to the issue, you got to kind of go to a forum, go online, try to call somebody that does.
Yeah.
We have a team of people, some of them have been there for as long as 14 years, but have been in the industry for even longer than that. So we have tiers that we can elevate things to. We have different support managers that we can delegate things to. So if one person doesn't know the answer, we have a full team to bounce ideas off of and to find somebody that may have been there before and seen that type of issue before.
No, it definitely makes a whole lot of sense, right? Experience as knowledge, and especially in an industry that's changing as dramatically as yours can be and is.
Absolutely.
What else are you seeing for changes out there in the industry? Anything like eye-opening or just?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is really the cybersecurity side of things. It really is scary nowadays, where a lot of small to medium-sized businesses who really didn't think about this stuff before, have to start thinking about it because they're becoming the bigger targets because people out there know that most of them aren't taking the proper measures to have a secure, compliant environment. People out there know that they're probably not spending the money to put some of these fail-safes in place. So it really does leave them open to a lot of risk because they are definitely being targeted out there.
So what makes Cinch IT different? How do you help?
Yeah, so different than an internal person or from the competition?
What makes you guys so different than your peers, your competitors? How are you helping your clients above and beyond what the next guy is doing?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of competitors out there in the managed service IT space. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is that our help desk is located right in Worcester, Massachusetts. So we have quality control over that. We're not outsourcing our help desk anywhere. We're bringing people on and training them through our methods and finding people that we know are going to do a good job, and we can really monitor that and make sure that people are getting the resolutions that they expect to get. At the same time, we actually, as we touched upon before, have just recently started to franchise. So I'm one of the first franchise owners out here, and the reason that thank you.
Don't mean to interrupt, but that's such a big accomplishment. It really is.
I appreciate that. I really do. But what I was saying is the reason that we do that is to offer even better support. So we started to realize that a lot of our clients had satellite offices in even other states, other territories. If our headquarters is right in Worcester and we need to get somebody on site out there, it could take, a couple hours if they're across the state, but it could take a day if they're across the country, or even worse, we may have to contract with another different local company that we don't have that control over. So now with this franchise model, we have a bunch of different Cinch IT locations that are going to be popping up all over New England and eventually all over the country that are going to allow us to deliver that exceptional customer support even faster than people are used to.
That's exciting. And you're on the front end of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, just to see the growth, seeing you grow over a year has been awesome. I can't imagine what your company is going to be able to do in 2, 3, 5, 10.
I'm excited about it.
I'm sure you are excited. You're more excited than me, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, no,
That's awesome.
It's great. It's an exciting time to be in this industry and in this space, because I really have seen how we can make a fundamental shift to somebody's business and really put them in the right direction.
Are there, with business, small business especially, right? Budget can at times be an issue, right? There's, do you do this or do you do that? Do I hire an internal? Do I hire a managed service? Right. What are some of the bigger questions or hot topics that people are asking themselves or you when they're deciding to use somebody like you?
Yeah, so if you're going to compare us to hiring somebody internally, I'd say almost every single time we're going to be the more cost-effective option. When you think about it, you're hiring a company, we're probably going to do it at a fraction of the cost, but even more importantly, you're not going to have to pay us benefits. We don't take any days off. If one person gets sick, we've got a whole team of people that are there. Huh? And also going back to what we were talking about before, if you're looking for a solution that your one IT person doesn't have, we've got a whole team that can find that solution for you. Whereas, you may end up having to hire somebody like us to come in there and support you. And there are a lot of organizations that do have an internal person that we actually work with and support on the back end because they've found that they're growing so fast, or they're starting to implement new projects, or whatever it may be, that one person is just getting stretched too thin. So rather than hire a second person who may or may not be able to shift that workload, they can hire a whole team of people who can act as their back office, their support desk, really take the pressure off that one individual to focus on the bigger projects that they were originally brought in there for.
Do you find that even in some of the smaller shops that there's somebody that's wearing multiple hats that's trying to do it all, that may argue I can continue to do it? What are you seeing as the value add for you and your team coming in at that kind of level? Yeah,
so I'll tell you, we go into businesses all the time. We do a free cybersecurity audit for any potential customer. Awesome. And part of what we're looking at during that audit is certain compliance measures, because the state actually has compliance measures that they hold companies to. So when we go in there, these people, no matter what industry it is, even healthcare industry, biotech industry, places that are highly scrutinized, we'll go in there, and I'd say about 80 to 90% of them are missing key compliance components, as well as having some significant gaps in their cybersecurity.
And they probably have no idea.
No.
Business as usual.
They don't, right? And that's really where we can build a lot of value up front, is we'll go in there for free, take a look at, what they have in place, what they may be missing, and then give them a report on how to fix those things. So if they want to...
Give them a report, huh?
Yeah, we'll give them that report for free, because we find a lot of the times people are, just overwhelmed and they don't know what they need, so they're thankful for us for coming in and doing that, and then we're usually brought on board to support that. But if we're not, there's no hard feelings. If they're confident that they can handle it internally, at least we can give them that report and they can go back.
That goes a long way.
Absolutely. It's all about building goodwill and building value up front for people. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's next for you and the team? I know you have a lot of work ahead of you. You've already built up a portfolio of clientele from your business development experience.
Yep.
What's next for
Absolutely.
you and the team?
So we just want to keep continuing to help as many people as possible. So there's a lot of businesses out there that probably don't even realize they need us. One of the things that I run into a lot are people that don't have any sort of budget towards IT. They have maybe somebody that's wearing multiple hats, and they're the office manager / IT person, or the HR person / IT person, or the CEO / IT person, just because they happen to know the most about technology.
Yeah.
But that's really where you're missing a lot of these gaps. You're not. There's no way you're going to be able to stay up to date on all the compliance changes that the state's making, which happen almost every year, if not every couple of the years. Things are constantly shifting. You need to have updated documents on file. You need to have updated firewalls in place, all sorts of different moving pieces that are real hard to manage if you don't have somebody dedicated to just managing that. So that's what we're focused on, is going out there and finding those companies that don't know what they need in place and maybe putting themselves at risk of a significant breach or data loss or downtime or whatever it may be. Because when you're on that reactive model and you're just running around trying to fix things, you're really leaving yourself susceptible to having a big unexpected event, whether it is a breach or whether your systems go down, your server fails, whatever it may be. If you're not monitoring that stuff 24/7, you don't even know what you're at risk for. So
That leads me to a bunch of questions, but I want to pause because I think it gives us a good opportunity. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you? We'll throw it up on the screen as well.
Yeah, absolutely. People can call me directly at 508-340-9914. You could also send me an email at jsmall@cinchit.com. That's just the letter J, small@cinchit.com. Or you can go to our website, cinchit.com, and you can find a locations tab for the Woburn location that we've started up. So
awesome. I just wanted to make sure to pause there and leave that as a plug.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And we'll get back to that at the end, but I wanted to make sure that it sounded like a good opportunity, right? That business owner that is, like you said, wearing all those hats, that doesn't know what they could possibly be at risk for. Why not have a conversation, a cup of coffee, and a free audit?
Absolutely. Reach out to me. I'm very accessible, and I'm always willing to just have a conversation and be a resource. So.
Awesome. I want to jump way back to what you said in the beginning. You talked about a couple of the verticals that you play really well in.
Sure.
It led me to that point of the business owner doing a lot of the stuff, that office manager doing a lot of the stuff.
Right.
Let's go over those verticals again, and really why and what you're doing that helps those verticals maybe better than the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah, that's perfect. So I try not to limit ourselves to like one specific vertical, but we do.
Glad you started with that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different organizations that we can help, and some of them, are things that we've never even thought of, and people just call us, and we go out there and
you make it happen.
It turns out that we can actually do a lot for them. So I don't want to, box us into one category, but I've found that some of our biggest opportunities come with biotech, manufacturing, and professional services. And it's for a variety of reasons. With the biotech industry, a lot of these companies are very fast growing. So they start off with maybe 2 or 3 people, and then they receive funding and start to bring on new people. And that's when they start to stretch themselves thin, all at the same time trying to remain HIPAA compliant and have all sorts of other compliance measures met, and make sure that they're backing up, data appropriately, making sure that they have a good continuity plan in place. There's a lot of ways that we can help people like that. A lot of biotech companies also struggle with database management, and because they don't know what vendors to work with, things like that, we do all the vendor management for them. So we're able to really take charge of that and point them in the right direction, and then support that network once it's up and running.
Take charge of it and take a lot off their plate, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. That project management role is key.
Yeah.
With manufacturing, it's the uptime that people are concerned with. If you've got CNC machines, different CAD machines, and you've got people working overnight, you want to make sure that they're supported and that those systems don't go down, because you can lose a lot of money if something fails or you're down for even just a day or two. It can be astronomical, the cost for there. So we're making sure that we're supporting those systems, monitoring those, and maintaining the longevity of those types of systems. And then with professional services, it comes down to preventing them against cyber attacks and keeping them compliant, because there's a lot of sensitive data that gets passed back and forth, especially via email. I'm sure you see it all the time in the financial services space. where customers are sending you things that they probably shouldn't email to you. But if you don't got the measures in place to encrypt those emails and archive them appropriately, then you can be in trouble as well. So those are our three main verticals, but we help with just about anything. The only thing that we kind of stay away from is point of sale stuff, so retail and restaurants. The only reason for that is that there's other companies out there that specialize in point of sale. So
and they focus on
they focus on that. So we'll be honest with people, hey, point of sale, we can vendor manage it for you, but it's not going to be as good of a relationship as if you go to somebody that handles the point of sale stuff themselves, and they'll give you the better relationship with that. So we want to be honest up front.
At least you can recognize that, and that goes a long way when you share that kind of information like you do with the audit. It's that tangible information is valuable, very valuable, building goodwill.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. People don't know what they don't know, so we've got to go out there and educate.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I didn't ask for this by any means, so if you have to think about it, that's right.
Sure.
One or two tips, just for the average user or the average business owner, that, like you mentioned before, that incoming email that might have something on it that it shouldn't, or whatever it may be. Do you have any tips out there just for the end user or the businesses?
Yeah, so make sure that your email is secure is a big one. Mm-hmm. Make sure you've got a firewall in place. It's funny how many well, it's not funny, but it's, shocking, I should say, how many businesses you walk into that don't have a physical firewall set up or in place. And I've been into all sorts of businesses, from healthcare industry to medical practices to insurance agencies that just don't have that firewall, which is really your first real defense against a cyber attack, or even just having content filtering and things like that, so people aren't going to sites that could potentially leave them exposed to viruses. So the firewall is a big one. Okay. I'd say go online and look up 201 CMR 17. Those are the Massachusetts guidelines that actually tell you what a business needs in place if they're going to have any access to personal data. So it's not just storing that personal data. If you have some sort of a platform that people are logging in through, like a portal or something like that, if you're storing any personal data, if you're sending any personal data, you need to have those guidelines. You need to be following those guidelines. So you should definitely have a copy of those, so you can use that as a blueprint. If you look at all this stuff and you find that it is too daunting, that's what we're here for.
Then call. Don't even hesitate. Then call first, right? Ask questions.
Exactly.
Awesome. And so again, I just want to use this as an opportunity to reiterate, how do we get a hold of you if that business owner says, okay, those two things you just mentioned, I don't even know if I have a firewall and I hadn't heard of those codes. Yeah. I got to call Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you can give me a call directly at 508-340-9914, or send me an email, and we'll put my contact information easily available.
Easily available. Awesome. Yep. So we're going from, upwards of the New Hampshire border, Lowell area, down to the Needham area. You and your partner, Anthony, are going to cover a wide territory, it sounds like, to service these individuals.
Absolutely.
I mean, the free audit sounds like a no-brainer for the person, to me, the business owner that doesn't know exactly what they're looking at.
Absolutely, and it's not like a gotcha type audit where we're going out there and we're the state and we're going to audit you and punish you for missing all these things. I'll tell you, again, 90% of these businesses on the high side, 80 to 90% of places that we walk into for the first time are missing some sort of crucial component of that audit. So it's important to know where you may be exposed to certain risks, especially nowadays where it doesn't pay to be ignorant. It really doesn't.
If I was a business owner and said, hey, that sounds great, but we have this that we don't want to share. We want to make sure that our privacy, I know somebody's going to be coming in and tap into our systems. How do you guys start that relationship so it feels safe, secure, and you move through? Do you have non-competes? Do you have, how does that work?
So we've got non-disclosure agreements that we give out to every potential client that we meet with. When we sit down, we're giving you a signed NDA saying that we're not going to talk about any of your environment with anybody else. We're not going to go out there and spill the beans on you.
So people feel very comfortable knowing that, hey, we're getting an audit. Our information is staying safe, secure here. This is just helping maybe us find the gaps in our plan. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just looking to see, if you are missing anything, because it gets expensive. If you have a breach and you're not in compliance with the Massachusetts 201 CMR 17 guidelines, then you're going to start to see those fines. And the fine, I think, is up to $5,000 per an occurrence. And that occurrence isn't that one breach. The occurrence is every piece of data that you have that's personal, identifiable information.
Which could be hefty if
Yeah.
the wrong thing.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many clients you have. Think about how many potential clients you have. Anybody in your CRM, anybody that you have on payroll. It's a lot of stuff. It's scary. So it's important to make sure you're protecting yourself on the front end against that type of stuff, so you don't get hammered with those fines on the back end, because I've seen it put businesses out of business, getting some of those crazy fines if you get fined by the state.
I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't.
Yeah.
When in doubt, call Jay, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Yeah,
we're here to help.
You are.
That's what it comes down to. Is we'll have that conversation. This audit isn't a huge, process that's going to take up your whole day. We take about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the size of your business. Come out there and get you those results that you want, with the issues and recommendations all laid out for you. Do what you will with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. I was glad to share your message and have you share your message, because I know you're out there helping.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Anything that you would like to kind of leave with the viewers about you, your company, or what's next for you guys? I want to make sure you have all the airtime you want.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited about helping a lot of the businesses in this community and in the surrounding communities. We've already helped quite a few, and we're here to help anybody that wants it. So don't feel overwhelmed or too scared to do anything about this stuff. It is a daunting thing to think about with all this IT stuff and the cybersecurity side of things. And if you've got big projects going on, whatever it may be, just don't feel too daunted by the whole thing that you don't do anything, because the status quo nowadays really is what's getting so many companies in trouble.
Okay, well, I appreciate you leaving us out with that, and enjoy your summer. I know you're going to be working hard.
Absolutely.
Now's a good opportunity for those slower business owners to take advantage of a coffee and a powwow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always here to be a resource. So.
Thanks, Jay. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you all for watching today's show with Jay Small, new franchise owner of Cinch IT. Thank you for watching the Woburn Spotlight, and join us again next time.